I'm here. Hello. I've had probably 10 minutes of making sure that everything is perfect, and it's still not exactly the way that I want it to be jumping on live, but I've got my IG over here, I've got my Facebook over here. I'm also recording a podcast at the same time, doing all the things because mum life means that the time that I have to be in all places at once is limited. So here we are. Hi everyone that's joining. My goodness, hello beautiful people. Laurelie, Adam, Julian, Simon, hello. Give us a wave. Tell me how you guys are feeling this morning. I would love to actually connect. Tell me where you're from and yeah, how's your morning been? I want to jump on and talk about the difference between purely existing and just kind of going about our day-to-day life in this maybe like mundane and mediocre kind of way where we get stuck in the repetitive cycle of, the day-to-day, and the difference between that and actually coming fully alive and feeling like you're actually living and not just doing the same thing every day and kind of feeling a bit bleh about it or a bit not fully alive. And I want to start out with a story of my own to kind of get you guys into the feeling of what it's like to just be existing. So I've never, ever been someone that has felt like I wanted to do the same thing as everyone else and just become a carbon copy of, this rinse and repeat lifestyle that we kind of collectively see. So we see people go to school, then go to university, get a job, save money for a house, have kids, be in this same job until they retire, and then they can really start doing the things that they love and doing the things that they want to do. So we kind of have this preconceived idea that we just have to, we're always chasing the point where we can then become free, right? There's like this, I've got to do the hard work. I've got to do the hard yards. I've got to save money. I've got to do my degree. I've got to do this before I can actually fully come alive. So the personal story is that I went against that from day dot. I thought, no, I'm not going to university. I'm going to be an athlete and I'm going to really chase down that career. But what this did was, instead of me going into a job, a conventional job, I instead went into professional cycling, and that actually became my thing that others would have as a 9-to-5. So I was still falling into this pattern of like, okay, when I become a world champion, then I'll be free, then I'll be amazing, then I'll be doing what I want to do. But first, I've really got to sacrifice my freedom, sacrifice my joy, sacrifice being fully alive in the present moment. And so my professional cycling career became it became a job, it became work. And I really, as I was saying, I really just didn't lean into being fully alive in every single day, but instead I was just existing. And so instead of having a 9-to-5 job, I was just existing as a professional cyclist. And as my career progressed, I really felt like this almost soul sucking, like this soul energy draining out of me. My aliveness was leaving my body. And I became this, like the vision that I always get is like a grey person, just, I guess in modern society, it'd be like someone walking down the street, grey in their suit, carrying their briefcase, kind of like going to work, just like a zombie And there's all of these zombified people who are just like, you know, doing the thing, kind of not feeling alive in life at all. There's no color to them. And that's what started to happen to me, but it was in professional cycling. It was in something that I was like, no, I'm not getting stuck in that 9 to 5. I'm going to go do something that I truly, truly love. But then instead of the life getting drained out of me in a 9 to 5, it just got drained out of me in professional cycling. Because, and this is the key aspect, because I still believed that I had to reach a certain point in my career before I became free, before I could truly be all of myself, before I could truly feel that I had made it, that I could approach life with a level of ease rather than this white-knuckled tight grip that I had on life. Can you guys relate? Yeah? This like, I've really got to go hard until I reach this point of maybe financial freedom, or maybe it's I've got the house that I've always wanted, or I've got these things that I've always wanted to do. I got the promotion, or I got I'm now we've built out my family and the kids are at school, yada, 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 whatever it is. Do you feel like you need to reach that point before you become all of you, before you really start to enjoy life? You're like, when I get to that point, then I can start to enjoy life. Well, let me just drop this in here. You will never reach that point. This is not a point that you reach and then finally you're there and you can release and you can let go. This is a choice that you can make in this moment to come fully alive. It doesn't happen when you get to the top of that mountain. I shared a post yesterday, something I learned in professional cycling is that the top of one mountain is the bottom of another. So when you reach that, oh yes, I've ticked it off, what you'll realize is all of those problems are still there. You're still the same person. And this happened to me when I won the national championships in 2018. And I thought, okay, winning national championships is going to absolutely transform me as a person. I'm going to be happy. I'm going to be successful. I'm going to love myself. And I crossed that line in first place and I realized I am still the exact same person. Sure, there was celebration for a couple of weeks. There was like riding this high. And then I woke up and I'm like, I'm still just as depressed. I'm still just as unhappy and unfulfilled, and I still don't love myself, and I still don't feel that people love me, and all of this stuff just came flooding in. And it was actually amplified because I realized, oh, it doesn't come from outside of me. It comes from within. So the difference between just living, just existing, and coming fully alive is the choice that you make every day, whether or not you are going to be your fullest self today, or you're going to choose to wait for the specific moment in time where all of the stars align and then you can be yourself. And I'm telling you, that moment isn't coming. That moment is a choice that you make now. And yes, there may be things that you need to work on. There may be wounds that you need to heal. Hello, beautiful soul. So awesome to have you on here. There may be wounds that you need to heal before you become your fullest self. We all have things that we need to work on. We all have these shadow sides that we need tending to and nurturing and healing. Yeah, so there definitely are things that you need to work on. It's not like this split moment in time where you go from, not loving yourself and not loving life to like, oh my gosh, I love life. It's a choice that you make to start that journey. And that starts now if you choose it. So the reason why we have to actually work on this is because it's been conditioned into us to go the other way, right? Everyone around us is going into the work hard for your money, or is going into, you have to work hard for your family, you have to build your life before you can start living. That's a conditioning. That's in society. We see that all around us. So of course we have this herd mentality that we have to follow suit. And if you're like me and you realize this from a very young age, you're like, no, I don't want to do that. It's not just a matter of choosing not to be like that. It's a matter of actually healing from within. Because like I shared with you, I still, even though I was rebelling against this way of being, it was still conditioned into me. My name is Danny. Hi, Danny. You're from New York City. Just wanted to say hello. Hello. I enjoyed watching Cycling Crew on TV. Oh, thank you so much. It's so beautiful to have you here. Let me know if you have any questions about what I'm sharing or, So this is the reason why we need to actually work on this. We need to have the awareness of what is happening, that we are getting collectively pulled into the this mental construct and this way of being that says you have to work really hard for what you want. You have to set up your life before you can be free to be who you truly are. You have to wait until XYZ happens before you can celebrate every single day and every single moment. It's not taught to us. That is not shown to us. That is not modeled to us. So that's why we have to kind of unlearn that way of being and relearn what it feels like to be fully alive. And I know that you've experienced it, right? You've experienced that feeling of liberation and freedom where you're like, oh my gosh, this is living. And that might be when you're on a holiday, or that might be when something happens in your life where you're like, oh, I can just let go of all my worries. I can let go of all of this pressure and I can just be me. They're the moments that I'm talking about that you get to be in and you get to exist in on a permanent basis. Despite the fact that, yes, there will be challenges that are thrown your way, but you still get to choose to be fully alive, even when there are challenges. So the way that most of society also operates, which I want to bring in here and touch on, is that we are at the effect of our external reality. So like I've just been speaking into, we need to wait for something to happen before we can come fully alive. But also at the same time, we kind of expect that, we get dragged into this notion that if bad stuff happens around us, things that we don't like, that causes us to feel XYZ, whether it's I'm unworthy, I'm not good enough, the external situations, whether it's people, things that happen, places that you go, situations that occur, that causes you to basically it molds and it shapes your personality, it shapes your beliefs, it shapes your thoughts. And again, this is something that's kind of conditioned into us to be at the effect of our own reality. But what I really want to allow you guys to lean into is being the cause. So when you're in this state of being fully alive, and when you can truly, truly lean into every single moment and be your fullest self in every single moment, you actually start to cause the effect of your own reality. So this is when you see things shifting in your external reality that you can't explain. Like you've just been on this beautiful journey of self-discovery, self-development. You're feeling amazing. And then you start to see people around you that, you didn't know how they've come into your life, but they've just arrived, and you develop these beautiful relationships, or money flows into you that's inexplainable. You don't know how you've created this. There's the promotion at work that you never saw coming. There's I don't know, like there's all of these things that can happen in your life that wouldn't have happened before, and they're inexplainable. So this is what it is like to actually truly manifest the life that you truly desire. The thing is, we are always creating. We are always attracting. The law of attraction is always happening. The question is, are you in a state of vibrational energy that you're attracting the things that you truly desire? Or are you attracting the things that are more in alignment with where you're sitting internally? So whatever beliefs you have that, again, I just use really common and common examples that I see are, I'm not good enough, I don't deserve this, I'm not worthy, I have to really work really hard for the life that I truly desire. If you have those beliefs, that's what you're going to see happening in your external reality. That's what you're going to see. You're going to see that you do have to work really hard for what you desire. You're going to see that you're feeling undeserving, or people around you are reflecting that to you. Like, no, you don't deserve the promotion, or no, you don't deserve the love and happiness, right? That's because of your internal state. So when we change that, when we shift that, we start to attract things that are completely unimaginable to us beforehand. We start to attract what we truly desire. This is the belief in the unseen. And try and have a positive mindset, but also it's more than just having a positive mindset. It's actually being the embodiment of that. Where we can get stuck with just having a positive mindset is positively thinking your way out of an embedded belief that you have, right? And this is a surface way of dealing with it. So if we think about our beliefs, they're right deep in our soul. Okay, so it's almost like this darkness that covers the true shine of our soul. And when we're just positively thinking, we're not going to a soul level to clear out that wound or that belief. We're just kind of working with this outer layer where we're like, I am good enough, I am good enough, I am good enough, I am good enough, and you have to try really hard to believe it. Whereas when you actually truly heal, you're removing that belief altogether, and then it's not there anymore. So you automatically believe that you're good enough. Yeah, so it's changing your energy. Absolutely. So this requires a belief in the unseen. And a lot of people, when I start to talk about this, go, I don't understand this intellectually. Like intellectually, I don't understand how I am creating my external reality, because it doesn't make sense. So the thing with humans is we are always trying to make sense of things. We have this thing here that is a meaning-making machine. We always want to make things mean something. But the reality is we live in a completely nonsensical world. Our existence in itself is miraculous. That we're even here is completely miraculous. Like, it doesn't make sense that we even exist, right? It doesn't make sense that I can sit here and talk into a screen and people on the other side of the world can hear it at the exact same time. These signals of energy are getting sent through the the air. What am I trying to say? They're getting sent through to a satellite that then pings it back to your location because you're tuned in to a frequency on a device that's sitting in front of you that's made up of energy, which is the same energy that I'm made up of. Like, all of this doesn't make any logical sense. Yes, there's science behind it, and we've figured out what energy is, and that it makes up particles and atoms and blah blah blah, and it's all collapsed into fit to make physical things appear in our reality. But beneath all of that, all we are is vibrational energy. And it just doesn't make sense to the logical mind, right? So what we can do is we can either choose to be on board with believing the unseen. And what that means is believing that things can happen for us that haven't happened right now. Because that is completely illogical, right? To believe in a future that doesn't even exist yet. And we can make assumptions of what might happen. But when we actually believe, truly, I believe that I am going to have the life that I truly desire, whatever that may be. I am being my fullest self that I see in this future reality. I'm being that now, and I believe that that is me now. That's illogical. That doesn't make sense. That's kind of delusional, right? That's kind of crazy. But when we actually embed this into our belief, into our soul, and we feel it on a bodily level, we collapse time. We move through space and time, and that physical reality starts to actually present itself. Completely illogical, but remember that we exist in a nonsensical reality. So actually, the most logical thing that we can do is lose our mind, is to stop thinking about it and actually just start being it, to make a choice right now in this moment that I'm going to believe that this is who I am from this moment forward. I'm going to stop using my past as proof of who I am. I'm going to stop relying on my past to create my identity now. And instead, I'm going to actually just start being the version of me that I know I am at the truth of my soul, which is completely limitless. Your true soul has absolutely no limits. So the question is, are you choosing right now to be that version of you, or are you basing your identity on all of this past existence? Because what will happen is you will start to create two completely different futures. One of those futures will be a rinse and repeat of everything that's ever happened in the past. And another version of the future that you can create is completely in alignment with the truth of your soul. You start attracting in things that you truly desire. And this is where you go, oh my goodness, I can't believe that all of this is happening. This is amazing. I'm like, serendipitous things are just dropping in. Miraculous things are just happening. And it's all to do with what you're choosing, who you're choosing to be on the inside. I get really worked up and really passionate about all of this stuff, guys, and I know that I move through things really quickly. So if you are watching the replay, or if you're here live, I'll be here for a few more minutes so you can ask any questions about anything that I've covered. And I'll just read this comment. Sometimes we go through childhood trauma and it's hard to move forward because I try to figure out what went wrong. Yeah, amazing. Okay. So it's not about figuring out what went wrong, but in order to move through any trauma, especially, a lot of our trauma is created from childhood, from those ages of 0 to 7 to 12. The way that we actually move through and heal that trauma is not by figuring it out in our mind, which is like, I think this is the point that you're raising. It's not by figuring it out in your mind, but instead it's by actually feeling what happened in your on a bodily level, on an emotional and visceral level. So allowing your body to lead you through that healing, rather than going, oh, this happened, and staying up here in our mind, which is really a defense mechanism. A lot of the time when I move my clients through processes, and even myself in the beginning of my healing journey, moving through processes, I'd be really in my head about it, and I'd be explaining to my coach, this is what happened, and this is what happened, and this is what happened, and this is what happened. And yes, it all makes sense that I'd be really angry and upset about all of that. But to actually go into a process of healing, what that requires is for you to feel it on an emotional level. Yeah. And then once you've felt it, that's where the release happens. Yeah. Yeah, right. Amazing. Well, my loves, this will be available as a replay if you want to go back and listen to anything that I've said, and comment to ask any questions, or DM me if you just want to have a chat about any of this. But I really loved just tapping in and connecting. So have an amazing Thursday. I had to look at my calendar because today is like my Monday. Today is the start of my week. But yeah, thank you so much, Danny, for joining and connecting. It was beautiful to have you here. All right, guys. Bye-bye. Love you.